Hello and welcome to Elemental Codes Language School. My name is Joseph, and you can check out our website at www.elementalcodes.com. And if you follow this video to the very end, I will be giving a free gift to those who want to learn Spanish. So stay tuned to this. So this is an introduction video. I just wanted to take the time to explain who I am and what I have to offer, as well as who we are as Elemental Codes Language School and what makes us different than everything out there. Because you might be thinking, oh, there's so many apps and programs and stuff that I can become fluent in 135 hours and stuff like that. And I'm gonna tell you that that's not true. Okay, that is not true. Unless you work really, really hard and you're savant, that is not true. All right, as I was saying, I'm going to introduce myself. So my name is Joseph, and I am one of the co-founders of Elemental Codes Language School. The other co-founder is Ana, who is from Guatemala, and her husband Dado, who is from Brazil. And so our goal is to create an exhaustive website, an exhaustive database of all the different languages. So that's our goal. It's a pretty big goal, but we're hoping to at least accomplish it. And I also wanted to mention that I've been studying Spanish for 23 years. I've studied French for about 4 academically, and then I don't know how many outside of academia. But I've also studied Portuguese and Quechua and almost every language out there, at least somewhat. So I know what it takes to learn a language. And so our goal is to be able to help you to learn a language and to learn how to learn a language. That's my goal, at least. I do have 2 degrees. I have an associate's and a bachelor's in Hispanic linguistics. And that means absolutely nothing in today's age, because academic studying of a language is not as profound as it should be, I think, in my opinion. That's my opinion. So we tend to have a timeline to get a degree. You only have 1 semester of specific segment of the language, and that is not enough time to go through all the information. So you have to basically pick and choose what information you want to go through. So at the end of my degree, when I graduated, I took my 101 through, it was the textbook for 101 through 104, and I went through page by page and I studied it. And I have all my textbooks I'm going to go through. My goal is to read them all page by page. I've gone through them in school, but I want to read them page by page so that I have an even higher level of Spanish. And I want to say that even though you've studied for a long time, you're still going to make mistakes. Just think of your native language and how many mistakes you make in it. I regularly make mistakes in English. I probably don't speak grammatically correct most of the time, because we grow up in a country where our native language is basically butchered. Especially in America, where it tends to sometimes get worse depending on where you're at. And so you're not going to speak perfectly, and my goal is not to help you to speak perfectly, but to learn how to learn and to improve. Because if you improve, you will become fluent enough to where you can have a conversation with a native speaker. It might take some time, but don't let it bother you if it takes more than you think it will take, because it ultimately will take more than you think it will take. And so one of the things that we want to do that makes us different than everybody else is that we want to be honest with you. And we want to be intellectually honest with you about what it takes to learn a language. It doesn't take 135 hours or 60 days or 90 days to become fluent. It takes a lot longer to become fluent. In my opinion, it takes a lot longer to become fluent. You can probably get by roughly in the language. In that short amount of time, you can have a basic conversation. But for me, being fluent means that you're going to be able to thrive in the country where that language is spoken. So that's my definition. It might not be everybody's definition. There's not really a concrete definition for fluency, especially if you get to the university level, where fluency is basically if you're able to communicate in that language, you are fluent. Maybe. All right, it just depends on the ability to communicate, I think, personally. That's my opinion. If you talk to polyglots, they will have the same opinion, because there'll be people that say, I'm fluent in 65 different languages, and they can barely put together a sentence, okay? So What we hope to offer is a complete and exhaustive database of each language, and what makes us different is that we're going to do every dialectical variation of the language. What's that? What are you talking about? What language are you using, Joseph? All right. So in Spanish, for example, since that's the one I've studied the most. Okay, Spanish. The Spanish of Mexico is different from the Spanish of Puerto Rico, which is different from the Spanish of Spain, and different from the Spanish of Argentina and Nicaragua and Uruguay and all these different areas. And then you have areas where they've merged languages together. All right. You have that in America where Spanglish is vastly different than actual Spanish. So if I were to say La Troca, if you go to a Spanish-speaking country and say La Troca, they won't know what you're talking about. But many people who have picked up Spanglish here in the United States, they would say La Troca. In Spanish, they would say La Camioneta, which is vastly different, right? So my goal is to be able to help you depending on where you want to go, because not everybody wants to go to Mexico, not everybody wants to go to Spain. Some people want to go to Puerto Rico, and some people want to go to Argentina, and some people want to go to Peru, or whatever. So my goal is to be able to help you in the Spanish of the place that you want to visit. That is my goal. So each country has variations, and they also have words that mean one thing in their country and a completely different thing in another country, which is sometimes humorous and sometimes embarrassing, right? But we hope to offer you just the complete, exhaustive dialectical variations, as well as multiple ways of learning, because not everybody learns the same. These apps, they cannot make you fluent. They can help you, but they cannot make you fluent because they only focus on certain aspects of learning. And we want to focus on all the aspects of learning and get it to where you can immerse yourself in the language and do so even if you are in a place or a country where that language is not the primary language that's spoken, such as the United States, where English is the primary language, but there are communities of Spanish speakers. And so our goal is to help you to be able to immerse yourself if you can't leave the country, or you have no desire to leave the country, and you can't go live in a place where Spanish is spoken as the native language. You can at least immerse yourself where you're at, for the most part, at least somewhat. Not necessarily entirely, but at least somewhat, especially in certain areas where there are communities of his Spanish speakers. So that's a little bit about what we hope to offer. We have more than that, but it's going to take a long time to introduce that. And so I will do that. And what I'm offering for those who want to learn Spanish, what I'm offering, if you've made it this far, I'm offering you a free gift, 2 months free of Spanish classes via Zoom. So if you want free Spanish classes for 2 months, go ahead and put in our website, www.elementalcodes.com, and click on contact us and put in your name, your email, your phone, and then put in your desire to learn free Spanish. Okay, or I want to take free Spanish classes, and then put your availability after that so that I can try to at least categorize those into groups and get that out to you. It'll be probably an hour class, so you need to at least set aside at least an hour, if not 2. And what we'll do is I'll explain a little bit more about what we offer and how I can help you learn the language, and do so as quickly as humanly possible. I'm not going to sit there and say that you can learn it in 35 hours because it's dishonest. I'm not going to say you can learn it in 60 days because that's dishonest, but you can at least pick up enough to where you can get by in a Spanish-speaking country, okay? So that's what we hope to offer. That's a little bit about me and a little bit about Elemental Codes. And so hopefully I will see you in the Spanish classes, and head to the website, and I will talk to you in the next video, okay? Hasta luego. Ciao, ciao.